You're listening to Hey Pal, What's New with John, Alex, and Greg. Hey Pal, What's New is a GBR production. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. Hey Pal, What's New can be found on Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google, Podbean, Pandora, and all your other favorite podcast locations. Warning, Hey Pal, What's New contains explicit content. John, Alex, and Greg are a pair of vulgar Gen Xers. If you are easily offended, please stop listening and go download a nice tame podcast like the Goop Podcast. You have been warned. There's no Gnu's is
like
good Gnu's with Gary Gnu.
Gnu. Olivia, Gnuton, John. 2 scoops of Olivia, Gnuton, John.
Oh, my God. I don't know. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know why I do that.
I don't understand.
I just like to put my middle finger up in the air.
Hey, everybody. What's up? It's Hey Pal. What's new? It's,
That is not a real working microphone.
Shh. I like to double it.
It doesn't make you in stereo, though.
Oh, rats. Do you remember those old ones you used to see where they used to tape them together?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good time. So
you'd be at a fucking press conference. Guy's got like 50 microphones in front of himself, and then next thing you know, he pulls out a gun and blows his brain. Oh, that's our Bud Dwyer.
yes, they should. I always see when they used to have all those microphones. Somebody should just slip a dildo in there.
Well, I was thinking about it because on the way back from Myrtle Beach, I'm like falling asleep, and Filter, Hey Man, Nice Shot comes on.
Oh yeah.
And that makes me think of that. But then I think about the fact that like the singer for Filter is Patrick Stewart's brother.
That's right.
Liquid metal guy from Terminator.
Yes, the T-1000.
I'm sorry, or should I say Peacemaker's dad?
Yeah.
The
White Dragon?
The White Dragon. White Dragon's racist.
The White Dragon. So, speaking of racist, we're on live now. It's Sunday night. We're at the CCC. I'm Greg. That's John Alex over there. And we're here to bring the pain, hardcore from the brain.
Dude, we were in Myrtle Beach. So I don't know when you were ever at Myrtle Beach.
I've never. Well, did we go to Myrtle Beach? No, we went to Virginia Beach when we were.
There's this section called Broadway.
Yes.
Broadway at the beach, and it's not even like. Anyway, it's like one of those touristy fucking areas where it's like shops and restaurants.
Every store is like a Monopoly board, like St. Charles Place. You're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're walking. They got like the little guys selling like they got the carts where they sell the bullshit. So they got the people with like the bucket hats and all the other shit. And there's one guy selling those little robotic animals that like the dogs that walk.
Oh yeah.
And this little girl is sitting there playing with them, right? And then she puts them face to face so that they're like kissing each other. And this other girl is standing over her, fucking grilling her hard, looking at her.
Why?
And Mila was just like, Dad, you see that? And I was like, what? She's like, the little girl's making the 2 dogs kiss, and the other girl's standing over, like, grilling her. I was like, that girl's sitting there going, 2 girl dogs don't kiss. What are you doing?
Forgot you're in the South.
Ma, the liberals making the girl dogs kiss again. Make her stop, Ma. It's just like, the girl was, like, so, like drilling into her, like she wanted to strangle this little kid.
See, I can't wait to move down south. I'm going in a few years, but like, yeah, you forget. Like when you're driving down there, you're like, wow, there's a lot of like Trump flags.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's very red down there. But...
Right on 17, there's Klug's Kites. Not an endorsement, but right next to Klug's Kites is the Trump Superstore. It's all like Trump 2024.
Oh my God!
All the signs and the shirts and everything.
They have a Trump Superstore?
Oh boy, do they!
Oh man, see, I want to go.
And Mila's favorite nickname for Xander when she wants attention, she's like, "Yo, white boy." and he turns around and goes, "Shut up, white trash!" And my mom goes, "We're down south. Don't let him say that."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you forget. I forget too. Like when I go visit my brother in Charlotte, it's like. You start, there are people and there are a lot of, transplants there, but at the same time, it's like
tons.
You forget, you go a little bit out into the mountains. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Hey man, It's not like we don't see him up here either. So whatever. But
I'm
yeah.
down.
Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a good week. I can't complain. Yeah, so I as we always do at the podcast studios. What's new with you, pal? You went on a little adventure this week, didn't you?
I went to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, and I heard you went to Medieval Times.
Medieval Times.
Now, my girl and I had a question. What do you guys eat there at Medieval Times? Yeah.
Oh, they have a vegan meal.
They have a vegan meal at Medieval Times?
Yep.
Where they have like a tofurkey leg or?
No, they bring you instead of like the soup they bring you in the beginning, they bring you that tomato bisque soup.
I haven't been there literally since we went
so
when
they,
we were teenagers.
They bring me, I get like a tray of like hummus, celery, carrots, and pita.
Oh, okay.
And then like the main meal is like you have the little bowl that they bring everybody the tomato bisque soup, and I get this freaking cauldron that's like bigger than this mug.
Nice.
And it's this like 3-bean and potato soup.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I can never. I get like halfway through and I'm like, I'm so fucking full.
Wow.
So.
We were wondering about that because you see all the freaking rubes out there with the big turkey legs, and I'm like driving up here and I'm talking to Manal. I'm like, I gotta ask him what he eats there.
Yeah. and they don't even give like the giant turkey leg. It's like a half a chicken, and then it's supposed to be like a half a corn on the cob, a half a roasted potato,
okay,
and then they bring the soup. But they didn't have like the corn on the cob, so it was like my mom's like, they must be out of corn. I was like, why? She goes, she's like, they give me a sausage. I was like, what? Somebody's giving my mom the sausage? I want to find out who I want answers.
That's good, though. So you had a good time with Mom down in the I've never been down to South Carolina.
We were on vacation, and like I always feel this pressure to like go do stuff. And like we didn't really even go to the beach. It doesn't help that I fucking hate the actual beach.
You don't like a beach, huh?
I don't like a beach. Like when Kat's there, they go to the beach. We go to the beach because she loves to go to the beach. But I'm just like, whatever. And the kids are sleeping till like 11 o'clock. My mom's like, dang, are they ever going to get up? And I was like, I don't fucking know.
It's funny how our parents, like especially our mothers, like just, we used to call it the AZ disease because I had my Aunt Ruth, and she would always say like, my boys were such good boys. They did everything. My mom would be like, what the fuck were you talking about? They were crazy. So my mom was just like, she does that too with my girls, where she's like, why did they sleep? I was like, Mom, I did the same shit.
Yeah,
like
every teenage kid does.
Teenage kids, they sleep till noon. Why are they up so late? It's like just because they can. It's summertime.
Yeah,
let them stay up.
Well,
all night.
They would sleep till like 10, 11, get up, loaf around, and then I don't know, we go do something like hang out, and then they'd be up until like 2 in the morning, and just like, well, they slept till noon. That's the time. That's their day.
Yeah, and it's always the rude awakening, like when school starts in a couple weeks, where they're gonna have to start getting back to like going to bed at 10, getting up at 6 or 5. My kids are the same way. Like, by mid August, it's like pandemonium. Like they're just like up till 2, same thing, sleeping till noon. Violet's famous for sleeping till noon, and it's like my mom just doesn't get it. I'm like, we did the same crap. Let them do it. Who cares?
I bet your mom did the same thing. She just forgets.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
It's a bitch.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
So, yeah, that was my week. What'd you do this week?
This week was pretty much not a lot. I'm still dealing with the clogged ear. I finally went to urgent care, which it was funny because I go there and this happens to me all the time. Whenever I get a cold or a flu, I get liquid behind my ear or water behind my ear.
Oh boy,
behind the eardrum, and it sounds like I'm underwater, and it takes forever to drain.
Oh.
So after 3 weeks of this, I was like, I just gotta go make sure it's not infected. So I go and went in there, and they pulled a piece of wax out of my ear that was like that.
Nice,
if you can see it. No irrigation, just a freaking like a huge tweezer, just ripped it. I saw stars.
Oh.
And then she was like, yeah, you have water behind your ear. I was like, yeah, no shit. This happens every fucking time. Give me some prednisone and we'll be on my way.
Yeah, Manny gets crazy wax build up in his ear to the point where, like, he can't hear anything. And it's always one ear that it builds up in. He can't hear anything.
It's like your dominant ear or something like that. Like, I'm left-handed, so it's like my left ear is usually the one. This one's fine. But it's getting better. I'm on day 3 of prednisone. I go fucking jacked up in my roots. And then other than that, really just, this week was, same, no gigs. I mean, I got a gig coming up Thursday playing in New Fairfield with the cover band.
Thursday?
Thursday around 7 o'clock, Memorial Field in the New Fairfield. Well, you saw me that last time.
Yeah.
At the Gazebo Rock. We're going to do some Gazebo Rock if you're around. So go check that out. It's fun. Some good times. Hopefully it won't be 150 degrees.
I'll see if Kate and her coworkers want to go there after work. Because her boss will be there. They're always there.
Yeah, right down, just grab a couple of chairs, sit down, and listen to the smooth sounds of Split Decision rocking, and hopefully, it's not going to be like 300 degrees out, So
I hope not. Check that weather.
Yeah, we'll check the weather. We'll check weather on the nines. And then other than that, what else? Oh, I do have another gas station story. I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to start. Wait, you have to tell me yours too.
Well, that I did tell you mine. That was the two. The
the two kissing.
Speaking of your gas station story, we were in. There's a place in Broadway called the Stupid Factory. And it's one of those places that sells like all these shirts, like woke up gay again, or if you don't like tacos, I'm not your friend. Like those kind of stupid things. It's beer o'clock somewhere.
Oh boy.
But I guess like something happened. Like I was like, all we need is I spilled something. Oh, Xander was eating ice cream, and it was like he didn't realize that the paper around the thing was to keep the melting ice cream from dripping out the bottom of the shitty waffle cone that they make at Ben and Jerry's.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all we need now is for someone to fucking slip on that and like, I'm going to sue. I was like, hold on, kids, stand back. It's going to be me. I was like, I'll just step on it and fall. I'll be like on the floor going, oh. And Mila's like, yeah. And I'll stand over you going, stay.
Listen, go on to heypalwhatsnew.com. Pick yourself up a Yikes t-shirt.
Yikes.
It just says Yikes on it. No, yeah. Oh well, glad we have a listener. This one it wasn't as big as there wasn't anybody on the floor. Just two little quick things. I always stop and get myself a coffee on the way, and
coffee.
Get my Marlboro Reds, and get my Cowboy Killers,
and your coffin nails.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yes, last week it was your headphone. Now it's the headphone. So I go in there. Two things. First thing I go get coffee, and it's like one of those mobile on the runs. It's like Florey's or something like that. Huge, got all these different kinds of coffees. This guy comes in, he looks like straight out of Vermont,
Oh shit.
Gray pubes ahoy, just like cute, like older guy with the dog in his car, with the AC going. Don't worry, he wasn't locked in there, otherwise I would have broke the window. But he goes in there, and I'm making my coffee, and it's just putting the stuff. And this guy was so freaking excited. He was like, he just comes up to me, and I'm just making coffee. I'm just pouring the black coffee in the thing. And he looks at me and goes, there's so many choices. I don't know what I want. There's so many different choices. And I'm like, yeah, I don't fucking care. He's wandering around, and he's like just looking at all the different flavors, and he's just perplexed. And cute, I was just like, okay, small talk. Yeah, okay.
How high was he?
He must have been. He looked like one of your uncle from Vermont with my old Uncle Mike, God rest his soul. He passed recently, but he was
him and Ann Heche.
Yeah, he used to, hey, the mountain man. He had a Barney Rubble laugh, and he used to go, quote unquote, take a walk with my dad. Yeah,
oh.
He was very into the weed. So anyway. He's wandering around. He must have did like 5 circles, So I go, all right, I get my coffee. I go up to the counter. If you can see my shirt, obviously for the audio listeners, I have my Cannibal Corpse t-shirt on, which is always a hit. I remember meeting one of my daughter's boyfriends with this shirt on. He was scared to shitless. So I walk up, and the woman behind the counter just is looking at my shirt, and she goes, oh, Cannibal Corpse, what is that? I'm like, they're a good Christian band. They're great. And she's like, really? I'm like, no. When you have a band where one of their biggest songs is called I Come Blood, they're not exactly.
Well, they were in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
They were. We talked about Corpse Grinder. Into the Ocean, you must go. He's got the biggest neck in metal. But yeah, and then of course I walk out, and Crunchy Granola Man is parked right next to me. He's getting in his car, and he's got his door wide open, and I'm sitting there like, either you freaking get your Crunchy your ass in this car and shut the door. I'm going to take your freaking door off the hinges because I'm just sitting there waiting. You know how like somebody keeps the door wide open? I had that at the coffee.
You're trying to be nice because you don't want to pull out and like whack their door and crush them, or you don't want it to scratch your car.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. First of all, I'm going to get on a little bit of a rant here. Fuck you people with your goddamn big cars. My car is a regular compact just car. And you try to pull into a spot and the big fucking Humvee blah 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 is parked in the exact same narrow spot as you. So now you're trapped in there. And I'm trying to get out, fat man in a fucking little car. I'm like trying to get out of this thing.
Fat man in a little car.
Yeah, I'm like
Richard.
I'm not even. It's not even a small. It's just a regular sized car. But these fucking
it's the size of a Honda Civic.
Yeah, and these fucking housefraus with their goddamn Voyagers, like gas guzzling pieces of shit. Parking the same thing there, and now I can't get out, and they're looking at me like, this lady's like, don't you dare touch my car. You know how much this car costs. You just want to slam into their car, but my car's got enough freaking smashes on it anyway. But yeah, that was pretty much my week. Watched a lot of movies since I didn't have the kids this weekend. I caught up on some movies and some TV, and even got some music news. Greg's music news. I thought to myself, I don't talk about news. I just talk about here's what's on my Discover. So I pulled one or two. But let's get into it. I know my boy over there has got some new. John, you got any news?
I do have a little bit of news, not a lot.
Oh, boy.
Nothing really huge other than, Anne Hesh dying and Olivia Newton-John dropping dead.
Yeah, I heard about Olivia Newton-John, obviously,
Kat didn't even know about Anne Hesh.
I didn't know about it. I saw it, and I didn't see it reported any other place, so I was like, maybe it's not true. I don't know. What's the deal with Anne Hesh?
So I got that one, when I was in Myrtle Beach. It came across my feed. I was like, what? And it was like hours after it happened. I guess she was at some freaking, wine tasting or something. She was allegedly hammered, and there's video footage of her on someone's Ring doorbell camera, high speed in her little fucking Mini Cooper, flying through the neighborhood moments before she crashed into a house.
Oh my God!
Car bursts into flames. Guy runs in and grabs the people saves the people in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to get her, and it was too hot because it was all flames around the car.
Yeah.
And they pulled her out, and after the ambulance comes, they get her out. They got her on the gurney. They're wheeling her to the ambulance, and there's footage of it, from the helicopters overhead, of her sitting up in the gurney, what's going on?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and she was on life support, and she eventually died.
Oh man, see, why isn't anybody talking about that? I saw somebody did an RAP, the typical RIP. But I was like, wait, and I looked, I Googled and didn't see anything, so I was like, all right, maybe it's just bullshit, or
I'm gonna go on record. The one I cannot fucking stand, I get RIP, SIP. They're not fucking sleeping. They're dead.
Yeah.
Slumber in peace, sleep in peace, whatever it is.
I don't like the RIPs either. If it's somebody that I really care about, I'll put something up there, and I'll say, rest well or whatever. But yeah, everybody's just as soon as somebody dies, it's who can get the RIP up fast enough? I got first. Who cares? Olivia Newton-John.
Did you find that clip? Because I don't think this is the clip.
No, I could not find the clip of Olivia Newton-John.
Olivia Newton-John.
2 scoops of Olivia. If anybody has that clip, I tried to look for an hour. I wasn't going through 100 Great Space Coasters, although it was fun to watch Gary Gnu. I hadn't watched Gary Gnu in forever.
Sure.
I like the theme song. It's dun 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 dun.
Dude, I wrote a letter into the Great Space Coaster. And
you did.
I wonder if this will get us pulled from YouTube.
Something really Gnu. Here's Gary Gnu. This is Gary Gnu. And No Gnus is Good Gnus Show. The only TV Gnus program guaranteed to contain no Gnus whatsoever.
This show.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. I mean, people our age, I go to my girl and she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, Great Space Coaster. Gary Gnu, no Gnu's, and she's looking at me like, yeah.
I bet you shouldn't even know.
Young.
I bet you don't even know what the Magic Garden is.
I've been to her Magic Garden.
The story box.
Yeah, it was in the story box. I got into that chuckle patch.
Oh boy. Yeah, the lady from that used to stop by Camp every year.
Oh yeah, she was local, wasn't she?
Yeah, and the guy at camp, like one of the guys who worked at the camp, his mom was like best friends with her, so she used to stop by the camp every year.
I remember my sister went to go see Paul and Carol when they played somewhere, and she was really little. But yeah, I digress. But I got into that chuckle patch. It's all good.
Oh, I bet you did.
Those two. I think those two were definitely tickling each other's chuckle patches. No,
they were elementary school teachers too.
Really? They weren't.
No, they weren't.
No.
Sorry to disappoint every childhood fantasy you've ever had.
Dang it! I wanted freaking Sherlock the Squirrel to come in. It was all gonna be.
So I don't know how into the Olivia Gnuton John we want to get.
Yeah, like I said, people get all like, and then the thing that bothers me, besides the RIPs, is the bands that decide to cover.
Oh.
Everybody's doing the cover of Hopelessly Devoted to You or something like that, which is a great song. I mean, she did have some hits. And she was very, she did a lot of great stuff, as far as cancer research and fundraising.
That's what she died from, right?
Yeah, she was battling it for a while. I must have seen a lot of shitty covers of Hopelessly Devoted to You, which, okay, I get it. You want to pay tribute, but people think like, I'm going to be, this is going to really hit it. No, it's not. It's not. Everybody and your brother is doing it. The only thing that I thought was funny about that was everybody does that whenever an artist, obviously Foo Fighters, everybody was doing My Hero and all that stuff. Funny thing, Neil Peart dies. Nobody does Rush because they can't.
Nobody can.
I was like, go ahead, fucker. See if you can come up with a Rush cover.
Now, you always see those guys who watch me play, and they're like on, YouTube doing a video of them playing along with a Rush song. Mm-hmm. But I doubt that any of those people could actually do a decent.
But you can't get shitty acoustic guy to go up and do,
No.
You can't.
No.
You can't. Not for, so, try as you must. But yeah, I did see a lot of, Olivia Gnuton-John, tributes.
Well, at least we acknowledge it.
We do.
Other exciting news.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The Boys creator has confirmed that season 4 is currently underway.
Oh,
thank God.
Thank goodness.
Xander asked me the other day. He's like, "I want to watch The Boys." I was like, "Absolutely not."
No.
And then but still, I'm not letting my 11-year-old watch that shit.
And it's funny. Well, hey, look. At least he's asking.
Right.
That's the thing with my kids too, where it's like, sure, they probably watch a few things that are questionable, but they always ask. And it's funny when you think about a show called The Boys, it doesn't sound like a threatening thing. It's not like, Vaginas Are Us or something like that. It's like, oh, The Boys. Yeah, The Boys.
It's based on a comic book.
Yeah, The Boys. It's a comic book movie. And then let's say all the people who took their kids to Deadpool, they were like,
oh, my God.
They're like, oh, yeah, it's Deadpool. It's a Marvel movie. It should be fun, Nope.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was fun for me.
What I didn't know this, too. This is another business. Did you know that the crew from the fucking Batgirl movie, they didn't know about its cancellation? You know how they found out about the cancellation?
No.
When they saw it on social media.
Oh, that old gag.
Oh, my God. Here's an exciting thing. I think you and I have to go and see this, because I saw the original in the theater, but the fact that they're bringing Rogue One back to IMAX with an exclusive Andor first look.
Okay.
I am completely down to see that movie again in the theater, because that movie was, I mean...
That's one of my top 3.
Ugh.
Top 3 Star Wars of all time. There's obviously Empire, dare I say Revenge of the Sith, and Rogue One. Those are like my 3 right up there.
Revenge of the Jar Jar?
And no. Jar Jar's not in that one. He's in Phantom Menace.
Jar Jar is a Sith Lord. You've watched that, right? The video where they explain how he's a Sith Lord?
No, somebody was showing their battle vest, like those denim vests they put all the patches on.
Yeah.
This guy had the best freaking patch. I want it on a shirt. It was Jar Jar's face, but it was black and white, and it said Misa Fits.
Misa Fits?
Like Misfits.
Oh.
Misa Fits in that lettering. And the Jar Jar, I was like, I need that shirt immediately.
That's one last bit of news. And this is in the What's Ezra Up To news.
Where in the world is Ezra Miller?
Where in the world is Ezra Miller?
Everybody, get out your Ezra Miller. What did Ezra do? Bingo card. Put it down. Everybody, to place your bets. Place your bets.
Now, Ezra has not done anything specifically new, but there is some Ezra news.
Okay.
In that he recently has been... Basically, he's being accompanied everywhere he goes by his mother. I'm sorry. They are being accompanied everywhere they go by their mother.
They, or whatever.
And their parents and is living at their parents' property in Vermont.
Mm-hmm. Sporting a sweet stash.
Oh yeah, and this brings up the question of the fate of the Flash movie. So this can go one of three ways. Either Ezra goes to rehab and does the
Apology
Ezra
tour.
Miller rehab apology tour.
Yeah.
Comes out and explains everything, and then goes on a limited press tour to support the movie.
Uh-huh.
Or Ezra goes nowhere, and they just go, "You're not part of any of this," and release the movie.
That seems to be the best way to do it.
And from what I hear, it's getting good reviews on the audiences that they're screening it to.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last option, which I don't even know if this is even a viable option, they scrapped that $200 million project altogether.
Yeah. See, my thoughts on it is, I think people that are really in the comic book nerd, it's like 10% of the audience, right?
Right.
I think if you release the Flash movie, even if you really, it's I don't know when it's scheduled. I think it's May or June of next year or something like that. They did the old let's see if it'll die down. It's never going to die down, right? You put the thing out. Chances are most people aren't going to. They're just going to say, "Oh, the Flash is out. I'm going to go see it." They don't know about all the Ezra stuff, and I mean it's getting more popular, obviously. But that was one of the things that kind of bugged me about this whole Warner Bros. Discovery is that. Zaslav came out there and said about Batgirl. Now, look, they spent, $70-90 million on Batgirl, and then they shelved it because I guess it was getting really bad reviews. But then he comes out and says, we got a 10-year plan for DC, and we're not going to put out anything that is, the quality and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, but they're not talking about The Flash.
No, nobody is.
It'll probably be a great movie. I hope it's a great movie. I have faith in it. Just put it out. Nobody watches press junkets anymore. I mean, do people really? I guess Middle America is watching, Entertainment Tonight or any of that shit. But most of the time, you're just kind of like, oh, most people they just say, oh, Flash is cool. Who's that? I don't know. Nobody's going to care. They got rid of that Wonder Twins movie.
Oh, thank God.
Too sweet. Gotham Knights, gone.
And we talked about how shit that looked.
Yeah. And, Batman apparently is... It hasn't been greenlit yet, the sequel, but they're like, calm down. It's going to get greenlit.
And if it is, they said it wouldn't be out for at least another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. So I don't know what their plans are. I mean, hopefully they right the ship and...
In looking that up, quick, anonymous Batgirl actor...
Mm-hmm.
calls the WBD boss an imbecile for canceling the film.
Shit.
Somebody's fucking throwing down the gauntlet.
Well, I mean, that's the thing where it's like, they talk about this stuff. It's like, for a movie like Morbius to come out and shit the bed, but yet it had to be really bad, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't, personally,
out.
I wasn't excited about it.
Me neither.
The way that it is. It's
you mean Batgirl?
Yeah.
I was excited about it because
Brendan Fraser and
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. But he'll be in Flash. I mean, I don't know. They really need to stop kind of... the way that I always look at DC is that, Stan Lee always used to call DC the distinguished competition, right?
Yeah.
They always, of course, Marvel's doing great now. They have a plan and all that stuff. I mean, DC needs to have somebody to write that shit, whether it's Jim Lee or Greg Berlanti or somebody, to kind of plan it out a little bit, and not rush to anything. It's just like, oh, they're doing Avengers, we got to do Justice League. It's like, no, you don't.
We've said this before. It feels like everything DC does is reactionary to what Marvel's doing.
Yeah, and DC could be a good, like, they proved it with Peacemaker, and they proved it with Batman. It's like you could be a dark, R-rated version of superheroes that Marvel will not touch.
Right.
They have Deadpool, which is the only one they're saying, like, well, we're not going to touch Deadpool. Other than that, it's like you could have your fun Marvel color, flashy, all that stuff. And then you can have DC if you want more of the darker kind of, Zack Snyder made it a little bit too dark, but you could, there's so much variety in DC.
Yeah.
If you really look at it, they have some bad shit, fucking crazy villains, and stuff like Peacemaker and stuff. You can make R-rated kind of stuff. So what else you got there, Sweet Potato?
That I believe was the end of my news.
Oh boy. John, you got any news?
Not anymore. I got rid of it all.
You did it, and you done did it.
It has been a crazy week, though, for TV shit.
Yeah. I mean,
not even movies on TV, like TV.
Well, yeah, TV. I mean, and it's only going to get crazier with She-Hulk coming out and Andor next month and all that stuff. But yeah, I watched a lot of TV, watched the movies. Which one you want to do first, man?
Did you watch Sandman?
Did not watch Sandman yet.
God, dude, it was so good.
Really?
So good.
Manny
said to me, he's like, you and Mom gave me that, what is the Neil Gaiman, The Graveyard book?
Okay.
Graphic novel. And he's like, whatever. He goes, and then I watched Sandman, and it was so fucking good. And then I looked at the comic and saw that, like, the show was true to the art of the comic.
Yes.
He goes, which made me relook at that comic book. He goes, and now I'm excited to read that comic.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I keep seeing it on Netflix, and it's one of those things where I'm like,
it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. I think I said last week. It's like every goth chick I used to date, was like big into Lady Death and Sandman, Neil Gaiman and stuff. So I'm like, all right, it looks interesting. Sometimes it takes me a little bit of coasting, but I promise, I'll watch Sandman this week. Throw that on the list. Right now, as far as TV, what I was watching, we talked about it. Well, we were texting back and forth about it. I watched all of Candy on Hulu.
Candy,
I can't let you go. It was good. I liked it. It was Jessica Biel.
Yep.
Kind of doing the Christina Ricci from Yellow Jackets. She reminded me of that a lot. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's true story too.
Yeah, based on a true story. Yeah, but it was like in the 80s where, this, and it had one of the girls from Yellow Jackets on it too.
Yeah.
She played this wife that was always just.
I almost gave up on it when I was watching because it was like the beginning was like so slow. I was like,
it was a slow burn.
Can we get to it?
Is it something where I literally, because I didn't have the kids this weekend, I watched all 5. It was like 5 hours, just like.
Oh yeah.
I just watched the whole thing. And it was good. It was, it's kind of like a whodunit kind of thing. And, I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but it's just, someone gets murdered and you start getting down the rabbit hole. I mean, you do see a bit of a Jessica Bielage. But she did give off to Christina Ricci. I felt like I was watching like a spin-off of Yellow Jackets.
Now, how many pals would you give it?
I would give it a good solid 3 pals.
All right.
3 pals out of 5.
All right, we got we're going with 5. I only went up for 4 pals on my ratings, but okay.
Oh, so it's 3 out of 4 pals? Is 4?
We'll go with 5. We'll go with 5.
Okay, I wasn't sure, but yeah, no, I give it a solid 3 pals. It was good. It was, like I said, it dragged a little bit once it started getting into the nitty gritty, and when they did explain what went on in there, I don't know if I buy it. Like, it wasn't very clear. I hate when they do that. They kind of leave it, apparently this is what happened, but it's from this side of the thing, so you don't know, and you're just kind of like, okay, all right, is that what you're going with? All right, is that what really happened? Who knows? But
who the fuck knows?
If you want to see Jessica Biel with a curly Q, and JT, her husband JT, killing it with that stash. I love JT. He was good in that. I didn't think he was going to be in it, and then he came out, and I was like, oh, yeah, Jessica's husband, JT, rocking it. He's good. I like him as an actor. And he played a really good like cop detective in it. So I thought it was interesting. Very early 80s. Yeah, if you get a chance, Hulu, man. I went all on the Hulu this weekend. So other than that,
Tales of the Walking Dead.
Got to talk about Tales. What'd you think?
So I think I said to you, I watched that first episode and I was choking over here. I watched that first episode and I was like, all right, it was okay. I like the concept of telling these like little one-off stories.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, is that if you don't like that one, there's another one coming next week that's different. You don't have to worry about it.
And I look at it like they're going that route they used to with comics, where you'd have like a series and they just do like a side story that either involved none of the characters or one of the characters.
Yep.
But was in the same universe, telling a story of like, while all that's going on, this is going on over here. And a lot of times those were kind of like silly.
Yeah, it reminded me, it's kind of like the Creep shows or the Tales from the Crypt. They're just like little bottleneck stories. And in the Walking Dead universe, some of my favorite episodes were just those bottleneck ones of like, with Morgan, with the clear and all that stuff, where it was just like little contained stories. Then you can go back to the narrative. Obviously, I like following a show that's doing a narrative for a whole season, but this kind of reminds me of their version of Creep Show.
I liked it. The second one with Parker Posey I liked, but I was like, what the fuck? Kate and I were watching it, we're like, are they going for a fucking Groundhog's Day here?
Yeah, exactly. And they don't
and they don't explain it.
They don't explain it. So then it's just like, okay. Like, the first one with Terry Crews, it was fun. I like him.
It was fun.
It was a good little adventure. But I wasn't like blown away by it. I wasn't like, wow. The second one with Parker Posey, they're doing a whole Groundhog Day thing, and you're like, is this really necessary? This is kind of silly, So I did enjoy it. It wasn't like, I give it solid like 2.5 pals out of 5 so far. But the thing is about it is that next week. See, what I think I kind of let myself down with it, only for the fact that the way that they were talking about the show is that they were going to take characters from the universe and do kind of like, this is where this one, like, we could bring back Abraham. We can do this. We can talk about this. And they're doing Alpha.
Yeah, next week is Alpha. Like, Kate and I are watching the preview, and she's like, wait, is that? And I was like, yeah, it's fucking Alpha. And I was like, we're getting her back. We already kind of got her backstory, so I hope they don't fucking retcon her backstory with some other bullshit.
Yeah. And that was the thing where it's like, all these people that they're doing, like they explained, I watched the Talking Dead, because I'm in the bag for all this crap.
You're a fucking shill for
I am a shill for Walking Dead. I'm still hate watching Fear, which is thankfully not going on yet.
You're the one.
Yeah, I'm the only one. I think it's like, Tales is ending, and then the Walking Dead proper will end, and then they go into Fear, and God knows what they're going to do with that. But yeah, so far, I was hoping they when I watched that Talking Dead thing, they talked about the 6 episodes and kind of what they're going to be about. Like Anthony Edwards is in one, the Alpha one, unless they throw some kind of a curveball. Like I was hoping to get some older characters that maybe died,
right?
Like do
maybe we will.
Maybe I want to hear an Abraham story. I want to get more the Tyrese, like these other people that. What the hell happened to that one guy that took off? What the hell was his name? He ended up doing 24. Yeah, I forget. Now his name just escaped me.
Sutherland?
No, he replaced. He played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton.
Yes.
Noah, I think his name was. He just disappeared. And he had a BE card. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
I got to go.
Yeah. He was like, I got another show to do. Fuck you people. Just like freaking Maggie did. But yeah, the Walking Dead's never going to go away. I mean,
not at all.
And that's what they talked about. They got Tales. They got Fear. They got the Maggie
World Beyond.
World Beyond's done.
Oh, no, I know. They had
they had World Beyond. But now they're doing the Daryl spinoff. They're doing the Rick and Michonne spinoff. They're doing the Negan and Maggie. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it kind of deflates the whole, like, I think I'm getting zombie fatigue at this point. I love a zombie movie, man. I'm a Romero freaking love that stuff. And I loved Walking Dead. Like, it was at a time when I watched it, I had to be home Sunday, watched it live, couldn't watch it taped. Had to know what was going on. Now it's just like, who cares?
Told you I used to love fucking time travel type stuff, and now I'm fucking time traveled out because everybody's fucking doing it.
Yeah, and then that's the thing with DC, too, is that they're talking like, well, we'll do Crisis on Infinite Earths, and we'll just wipe everything out. They're already doing it in Marvel, dude. Do something different.
And DC did it on the DC Arrowverse.
Yeah, they did Crisis on Infinite Earths already. So it's like, but that's the great reset. You know, you're just like.
That and Flashpoint.
Yeah. Well, they're doing Flashpoint, I think, with Flash. Yeah, I think they just need to cherry pick, you know, certain things and then just kind of go with it. So, yeah, I mean, you know, Tails right now is a good 2.5 pals out of 5 right now. I'm hoping that the Alpha one will bring it back. Hopefully, I'll start seeing some characters I care about, or maybe some more interesting stuff. Don't do the freaking Groundhog Day shit, whatever. But anyway,
I have one more TV thing.
Okay, lay it on me there, Jackson Brown.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazon did a League of Their Own series.
Did they? I think I saw that, and I was like, wait, is that the movie or is that? Oh, that's a TV show.
It's so gay. And I mean that literally. It's more. It's as much about them being lesbians,
okay,
as it is about starting a women's baseball.
Is there a lot of scissoring going on in there?
No, but there's a lot of like, you know, and there is a
scissor me.
There is a cameo with 2 of the surviving female baseball players. They're fans in the stand in the first episode.
Oh,
and in one episode, they go into a gay speakeasy.
Oh.
And the guy's like, "You a friend of Dorothy?" and they go in, and who's the owner bartender? Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh boy.
So, well, she was in the original movie.
She was. Yeah. There's no crying in baseball.
Are you crying? And they even did that.
Of course they did.
And it was one of the other players like, "Is she crying? Wow, is she crying? There's no crying."
It's just nostalgia everywhere you look. Yeah.
But they actually like, you know, tackled other issues like with the Negro Leagues.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's something that I probably would check out.
And I learned something new that back in the days when I was young, that back in the day they referred to gay people, especially, you know, trans gay people, as inverts.
Inverts, really?
Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing.
Oh.
Because the one black girl, her aunt, Bert. Her name is Bertie, but like,
where was Ernie?
She dresses in a suit and presents herself as a man.
Okay.
And her name is Bert, and the mother and father are talking about the daughter, who's, you know, older, and she plays baseball, and it's like she wants to be in baseball because she's black. They won't put her in the leagues, so it's this whole thing. But like, the father's like, or maybe the mother's like, you're afraid she's going to be an invert like Bertie, and I was like, what the hell is that? I had to look it up, and I was like, it was a term they used to use for not just gay people, but for gay trans people, for trans people too.
Interesting. Yeah. No, the only other stuff I watch is, you know, Better Call Saul. The finale, the whole show finale is tomorrow.
Oh.
Which, I mean, I don't know, man. If you're a Breaking Bad fan and you're not watching Better Call Saul, it's getting down to the wire, and it's good. It's really good. So I'm excited. I'll probably be waking up early, 6 a.m. just to watch it if it's on there. That, and I tried watching this show called Keep Breathing that was on Netflix. I couldn't get through 2 episodes of it.
What show?
It's called Keep Breathing. It's on Netflix. It's but we're talking about this fatigue of zombies, and but it's a plane crash, and she survives the plane crash, and now she's got to survive, and then she's getting haunted by the guy, and you're like, I've seen this 100 freaking times, like, and it's not good.
Oh my God.
So yeah, if you get a chance, and the only reason I put it on is because I was like, all right, I should watch something that's not Star Wars and superheroes and stuff like that.
Why?
I mean, just to mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
And I love Yellow Jackets. I thought, good. Plane crash, man. You know, I love that stuff. Man, it was painful. See, I didn't get through that.
It's No Alive.
No, it was No Alive. I'm still alive. No, it wasn't like that. But other than that,
Any new movie stuff? I only saw three movies, but only two of them I really feel like talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did see. I know that there's one that I saw that you didn't, and there's one that we both did.
The nerve.
That's right.
There's probably one that I saw that you didn't.
Yeah, well, the one that I saw was a documentary that's on AMC Plus. Well, it's actually on Shudder, but you can get it on AMC Plus. It was a documentary on Gore. Called This Is Gore. Very fascinating. If you're into their music, like, you know, I'd never realized, like, I knew the history of Gore, like, a little bit. Like, you know, everybody's seen Gore. You know, if you don't walk out of a Gore show with fake blood and jizz all over yourself, you haven't really been to a Gore show.
Wait, fake blood and real jizz, or?
Yeah, apparently it's fake.
Okay.
I don't know. And I do remember my friend Normie once got eaten by the worm.
Nice.
On stage, which was cool. But yeah, they did very DIY, you know, how they started in Virginia, and they built their costumes themselves, and then they built, and I never realized, like,
what's it called? This Is Gore?
This Is Gore. If you're into the band, or if you're just into, like, music, you know, documentaries about how a band was formed, I mean, they're still out there, they're still killing it. I just never realized as people left the band or died or what have you, they just get different people. Now, I know Brocky, the singer, Oderus Urungus, he passed, and they got some new guy who's still good. He was actually the old bass player that left the band, and then they needed a singer. He's like, I'll come back, you know? So there's been, like, 4 beefcakes, like, you know, 3 different guitar players. Like, they go through. It's kind of like the Descendants Mileage, where they started, where was it, Dockage or something like that? Or what was the Descendants documentary called?
Oh, Filmage.
Where they show all the different lineups of, like, this guy's gone. All right, we're going to put this guy in. And they just wore the same costumes. I never knew, like, they had different ones in there. So, just quick, if you get a chance, watch it on AMC Plus. It's a good watch.
I'm going to check that out. It's on my list now.
Yeah, and it's just...
I did watch the Woodstock documentary.
What'd you think?
Ooh, look, that
Kinda
whole
sad, right?
Yeah, and that whole thing when they talk about the girl getting raped in the back of the van.
Oh, the worst.
In the other documentary I watched about it a while ago, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was This Is the 90s or something like that.
They did one on HBO.
They went super in depth into detail on that one.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of that one on HBO Max. I watched this Netflix one, and it was depressing. Yeah, it was just everything that you shouldn't have done, you did.
And I think the one on Netflix was a little bit more behind the scenes, like why all this happened the way it did.
Yeah.
And the one that was on HBO was just about like what actually happened, not
the
planning and just fucking everything falling apart.
Yeah, it was just wild. But yeah, if you get a chance, if you guys want to watch that Woodstock 99 doc Trainwreck.
Not to be confused with the Amy Schumer film Trainwreck,
which is a great movie as well. I'm not a rom-com guy, but I always liked Amy Schumer, and Bill Hader's great. I got sucked into it. I went with my ex-wife once, and we never went to movies together, and we went to see it, and I enjoyed it a lot. There was a lot of good, you know, they had the David Tells in there, a lot of good comedians in that one. Nick DiPaolo, you know, you can't go wrong with that stuff.
So how many pals do you give that Guar film?
I would give it a solid 4 out of 5 pals. Mm-hmm. I'm a little biased just because I like the band, but you really don't have to be a fan of the music. If you're into like comic books and stuff like that, stage props. If you're into like, you know, the making of all that stuff. I mean, they were doing it. They were all like art kids coming out of Virginia, and they were just like, they built all that stuff themselves. And in the beginning, it was really primitive, but now it's like, it's insane. You know,
some fucking Hollywood level shit now.
yeah, and they have a whole team. They're called Slaves. That, you know, they come out on stage and they have like the gimp masks and stuff like that. But those are the guys that actually build all that stuff. Wow. And in the first scene, you see, they're coming up with these like tanks and like just they're carrying all, and they're not like a huge band.
Right.
You know, they'll do the occasional Warp Fest or do that. You know, they always played clubs every time. They were playing clubs all the time. But their stage show and all they'd have trucks of all this stuff, and it's like prosthetics, and it's really cool if you're into like makeup and effects too.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
You don't even have to be a fan of the music. Just be a fan of makeup and effects and horror, and you know that's why it was on Shudder. I thought it was cool. So that, and then I know we both saw a movie
I did see a movie.
Yeah. Well, which one do you want to talk about? The one I didn't see, or the one we both saw?
Yeah, I'll talk about the one that you didn't see. I watched this movie. It's been out for a while, and I keep seeing it. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch it. It's a movie called The Princess.
The Princess.
It's on Hulu.
Repping the Hulu today.
I know,
And I'm not a big Hulu guy. Like, I don't I got sucked into it.
It's what the hell's her name? It's okay. The guy that's in it is. Did you watch Preacher?
The Price is Right.
know.
No, I did not watch Preacher.
Dude, that show was fucking phenomenal. So
That's one I missed the boat on. I'm too late to the party on that one.
So this is a medieval time shit. Joey King, Dominic Cooper. Joey King is, I think, the guy that is in Preacher. He's in a lot of stuff, though.
Okay.
I mean, she's in a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she looks familiar.
But Dominic Cooper is the guy that was in Preacher. And it's all about she's this princess who, is getting married off to this guy, and she doesn't want to marry him. And then he's like, you fucking embarrass me. And he decides to, like, take over the kingdom and force her to marry him. And she basically fights back. And she's been training, like, sword fighting and all this other shit behind her father, the king's back. But it's very just, like, action.
Okay.
You got to know Dominic Cooper.
Yeah.
That
he
dude.
looks familiar.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Hello there. Hello. It's a tall drink of water.
Oh, he is.
He's a tall drink.
But he's a really good actor, and it's a really good. I mean, it's just a lot of action in it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Seems very similar to the.
He played Howard Stark in Captain America.
Yes, the young Howard Stark.
Yes.
Yep. But yet played by a different character later on.
Yes.
Which was.
But he was
weird.
also Howard Stark in
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter.
Yes.
In the Peggy Carter series, he was Howard.
Yeah,
Howard
I think he was like the young version as opposed to.
Yeah, they used in the older guy. They used the guy from fucking Mad Men, who was the boss.
Yeah.
It's like, I cannot look at him.
I didn't forget about that.
It was a good movie. It was a lot of action. It was just a lot of fight scenes, a lot of sword fight, a lot of acrobatics, like that kind of stuff.
You know what I think about sword fights?
Oh.
Cha cha cha. Just like docking. Come on now.
God, I mean, the story was a very basic story.
Yeah.
But the whole
Tale
movie,
as old as time.
Beauty and your. Anyway,
roast beef.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, very action, very silly story. It's only an hour and a half.
Okay.
So it's a quick watch, but it's a fun watch.
Okay. Now, if you're still flipping through the Hulu, that could be so. I saw it when we talk about the other movie that we saw that's been kind of making waves out there on the Hulu land. Prey.
So, really quick, I do give that movie.
Oh, yes. Pal it up.
I give it a solid 3 stars. Mostly 3 pals just because of all the action. I love those fucking action. And Manny finally saw Bullet Train, and I saw it. And it's a lot of action. It's a lot of fun. It's like one of those, like, it's
like a turn a brain movie off where you could just see people punching each other in the face kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm down with that.
I said I would give it 4 pals.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it 3.5. I give it 4 if there was one wacky, stupid, like, special effects, like the train crashes and Brad Pitt, who's supposedly, like, lucky, is like flying through the door to door of the fucking crashing train, and like, that special effects are so bad. I'm like,
yeah,
I couldn't with it.
Talking about Bullet Train, it was funny because I finally watched Nobody. Dad Bod John Wick.
That's right.
That train scene, because I watched the train scene. The bus scene? The bus scene. Oh my God, it was so good. Yep. I was just like, I mean, because obviously I'm watching Better Call Saul.
Where's the Hello Kitty watch?
Yeah. Of course, like, yeah, I was like, damn, okay, because they're talking about maybe doing a sequel. And yeah, I was like, it just came up on my YouTube, just that scene, the bus scene, and I was like,
must be hard transitioning from that to Better Call Saul.
Yeah, kind of. He's not. You can kind of tell too that when near the end of Better Call Saul, these episodes, he's a little bit more in shape because he was doing Nobody.
Right.
So it's kind of like he's not as doughy. You're kind of like, you're looking at him like, Jimmy McGill is not looking bad. He's kind of,
beefed up
a little bit. But, yeah, it's because he was doing that movie. It's kind of like when you watch Matthew McConaughey post Dallas Buyers Club.
Yes.
In Wolf of Wall Street, he's still skeleton-like. You're like, ooh.
Oh, boy. Oh, jeez. Eat a sandwich or something there, buddy.
So the other movie that we both watched, Prey.
Hey, now we pray. Pray. Wrong pray. Pray. We got to pray just to make it today. Oh, yeah, we pray. Pray. Come on, MC Hammer. Pray.
Wow.
It was not one of
That's good for tonight, people.
Thank you. Good night. Told me everybody's been talking about it, and you were like, "I'm gonna watch it." So I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna watch it too, so we can both talk about this movie." And people have been raving about it. So, what'd you think, man?
I really, really enjoyed it. I think we both had the same one little technical qualm with it, but
Yes.
that's Dan Trachtenberg who directed it. He's the same guy who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes.
And I remember fucking Dan Trachtenberg from way back.
Back in the days when I was young.
God.
From a little web series that I used to watch called The Totally Rad Show. Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad Show.
I never watched the Totally Rad Show.
It was
Apparently,
him.
it was totally rad.
It was Dan Trachtenberg and Alex Albrecht and Jeff Kanata. Why
Okay.
I remember their fucking names. Like
Wow. Pulled that out of your butt.
It was just, and they each had a different thing. Like, but Dan Trachtenberg was always about like movies, and the way he broke down movies and talked about like how they were filmed and what was good and what was bad and the sound. Like, he had a technical knowledge about film that I was like, man, this guy knows his shit. It makes it like makes you really like when you watch a movie, look at this kind of stuff. And to see him get into 10 Cloverfield Lane, I was like, all right, now he's making movies, so this is going to be good.
Yeah, that was a great movie, too.
And this one I felt was another step up, and I feel like he's going to be one of those directors to watch.
Yeah, now it's, definitely there's a great buzz on this movie.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where people are like, you put it on Hulu, you should have put it in the theaters. You
Yeah,
probably
they should
could have
have.
made a couple bucks.
You
but
never know,
that's
they may.
That's the thing. It's like when you're making these flicks, you're like, because let's be honest, Predator movies, maybe some people have a love for Predator too, but I mean, I don't like any of those things. Maybe I don't even like I like the first Predator.
Yeah.
Even the Alien vs. Predator,
Nope.
and that never watched any of them. I had no interest. The Predators, the Predator. I'm like, I don't care. So when I heard Prey was coming out, I was like, gonna skip that. I don't need to watch it. And then people started talking about it. They're like,
Yep.
it's as good as the original Terminator.
Predator.
The original Predator.
I think it's a little bit better. to a
Really?
degree.
Okay. I mean, the first Predator
Okay.
always is a soft spot in my heart. You
Well,
know?
let's put it this way. If you watched Prey before you watched Predator,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be better.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
If
what
you've
it's.
never seen it and you watched it as not as a prequel but as the original story, and then
Yep.
because they did borrow a couple of things, like you saw some things coming, but at least I thought she was going to sit in that swamp thing
Yeah.
to hide from him, but she
Mhm.
didn't.
Yep.
So
She almost did came out of the mud like Arnold. You're one ugly motherfucker.
I mean, there was the cheesiness of come on, keep coming,
Come on, do it. Yeah, I mean, it was. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Like I was like, all right, everybody keeps telling me this is good. Maybe I should watch it, and I did enjoy it. It was, like I said, we had one nitpick about it is just the dialogue of the they were Cherokee, I believe. And apparently there's like a Cherokee cut where they speak in Cherokee and it's subtitled. And I
Okay.
know people go, "Oh, I don't like subtitles. I don't like to read." Look, I keep my subtitles on because I'm freaking deaf. and
Comanche.
Comanche. They have like the Comanche cut, I think it's
Right.
called, where you can. They dubbed it in Comanche with subtitles for the Indians, which would have totally made, because the one thing that threw me out of it was. It's supposed to be taking place in the 1700s.
Right. Why are they speaking English?
Like proper English. Like, it's like, hey, man, what are you doing? Like, not that bad, but like, I'm like, Native Americans are not talking like this in the 1700s, and they speaking like modern
and
English.
They try and play it off with the one guy who's like, I speak a lot of different languages.
Yeah,
the French guy.
When the French settlers came in, and
I
they
thought
were.
I thought it was just the. I'm sorry, I thought it was the copy that I watched. That because I downloaded it because I didn't want to stream it because it's at my mom's. And the internet at my mom's is slow enough to begin with. But when the French guys are all talking, and I had the subtitles on, when you don't have the subtitles on, there's no subtitles for the French.
Yeah.
And when you put the subtitles on, all the subtitles for the French are in fucking French.
Yeah.
Can you give me some English subtitles so I know what the hell they're saying? And I had to sit there, literally sat there with my fucking phone and the Google Translate app, French to English, and pause. Okay, that's what he says. Go.
Oh,
and
wow.
Pause. Okay.
You cared that much.
I cared that much.
I was just like, okay, this is fine. And then that kind of took me to the point I was like, okay, well, they're doing this. Why couldn't they have just dubbed it or at least do some sort of an accent? Like, they just had, like, they sounded like they were from Southern California.
Yeah.
Like, just like, you know, come with me. And, you know, it was kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a small nitpick. I mean, obviously
And I feel like that girl in it, I feel like I've seen her, like, somewhere else.
Well, she's blowing up now after this movie. I mean, people are praising it. And it was great. I thought it was great. The kills in it were like, you know, as a gorehound myself, I was just like, yes. He's like cutting people in half.
The following is intended only for mature audience.
They do have the Comanche version.
Yeah, it's called the Comanche version.
Yeah, I'll have to watch. You know,
Like,
I might even watch. It was a short movie.
But like,
I would recommend if you are going to watch Prey and you don't mind subtitles. I don't. I put them on all the time because I'm deaf. Go for it.
I'm gonna rewatch it with the subtitles only because, like, I don't know if it's gonna take me out of it because it's not gonna kind of match up. Because they're all speaking English, so it's going to be out of sync with their mouths. That's why I watch things like Squid Game in Korean and just do the subtitles.
Yeah.
Because the dialogue matches, and I want that.
Yeah, it was like the other one that we watched, All of Us Are Dead.
Yes.
That one was good, and I did the subtitles with it. So it's like subtitles don't really bother me. Even dub doesn't bother me. It's just when it just kind of really threw me out of it. Other than that, like I said, the story was good. The action was great. The gore was, you know,
especially that fight scene with her brother and her fighting the Predator.
Yeah, and it was interesting for the fact of like he's got all this kind of modern technology, and they're fighting with basic sticks. Like in the beginning, kind of pissed me off a little bit too, just for the fact that she's like, it was the typical Mulan story where it's like, I don't want to just pick berries. I want to be a hunter.
Right.
And they're like, you can't be a hunter. You're a girl. And then she goes out, and she sucks at it at first. She, you know, every time she's like, I'm going to fight. She can't kill the bear. She can't kill the fucking lion.
Nope.
Her brother has to save her from that.
She got the axe on a string.
She's just about to shoot the bear, and her freaking bow breaks. And you're like, obviously you're not meant for this. But yet you can go after a predator? Okay. All
well,
right.
and they explain that because her brother says to her, you were always better at, like...
when they were together as a team.
And you're always better at, like, basically dissecting the scene in the scene. Like, what's going on in real time and coming up with solutions on the spot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely... I don't know about you. I would definitely give it a 4 out of 5 pals.
That's exactly what I would give it.
Because really, just the only nitpick that I had was just the dialogue in that, you know... And you kind of get over it a little bit. Did you notice at the end when they did kind of a post-credit thing?
Did they?
Where they were basically showing everything that happened in the credits in like those pictures. But at the end, you see, and I had to rewind it because I was like, you know, I was going to make a joke with you and just be like, did you watch the post-credit scene? Yeah, there was that part at the end where Alien just flat out took a shit on the like, wait, what? Alien is in this? No. But at the end, there's if you watch there, it's the you know the drawings of everything
like the
that
cave
happened.
drawings.
And at the end, you see the picture of the head on the bottom, the green head, and she's got all this stuff. And then they all look, and then they show like 3 or 4 spaceships coming out, like they're attacking. So my little theory, if you watch it, you know, check it out. It looks like they're gonna sequel it, you know, probably will, because it's been getting so much. I think they do a sequel. They expand on that thing that they kind of threw in. It's just kind of like a, hey, check this out.
Now, is it going to be aliens or more predators coming to
It
Earth?
was the ships that they, because like in the beginning, the ship dropped off the Predator and just kind of took off.
Right.
So it was those ships, like more Predators were coming back. So, because they kind of all point like, oh my God. And then you just see like 3 drawings of ships coming out. So I think definitely they'll do a sequel and they'll put it in the theater and hopefully they'll make $1 gazillion.
Fuck
you know.
yeah.
And I think the people that did this should do this with the freaking Terminator. Go back to the root. Like the Terminator's been the same thing. Shit.
Oh yeah.
So those were the movies that we saw. And I did want to mention before we go to music, if you've seen the trailer for House of Hammer, I should send it to you. If you want to watch it. Basically, I came across this and I was like, Armie Hammer, right? The actor?
Yeah.
There was this, it's a long trailer, so I don't think it's something that,
3.5, almost 4 minutes, the fucking trailer.
It's a long trailer. It is on our Hey Pal, What's New, it's on our Hey Pal, What's New, Facebook thing if you get a chance to check it out. I never knew Armie Hammer, and it was supposed to be all this controversy about Armie Hammer. And I'm like, what controversy? I don't know what, I'm not familiar with the actor. I've heard his name. I don't know what he's been. I'm like, what? So this whole documentary is apparently how he's a naughty boy.
Is he?
He is he has a thing for, he has a certain fetish.
Okay. Don't we all?
Yeah, but this one is, at first he starts hitting on these girls, and he's talking, oh, I can't wait to just bite you and eat you up, and blah, 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 blah. And they're just like, yeah, no, that sounds hot, Apparently, he is into a little bit more of that. He's a little Sebastian Stan Fresh.
Oh, he's
He
cannibal.
he likes blood and flesh and eating people, and apparently a bunch of these people came out, and, this is the big controversy about it. So I never realized, if you watch it, definitely watch it. I'm just mentioning it briefly. Go on to our Facebook page. I put the link up there. Maybe we'll watch it after the show, just because it's way too long. Just because I want you to hear it.
Yeah.
He's in the Dan Schneider Club. He's a little naughty boy. He likes to do stuff. And I'm all for that. Like, everybody has their own kinks, but like, oh boy, he kind of took it a little too far.
I mean, I guess his career's over.
I guess, yeah. He's being canceled, probably.
Canceled for eating flesh.
Cancel all appointments. So, yeah.
I think the last thing he had was like 2017. He was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
No, he's got Death on the Nile.
Yeah.
Crisis from last year. I mean, he's on a TV
it said
series.
Query. I thought it said Quincy. I was like, wait, he's not that old.
All right, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, we'll watch it after the episode. But yeah, go on to our Facebook and check it out. I can't wait for it to come out. I think it's a Discovery Hulu. It's on the Discovery Channel.
All right.
So yeah, we're going deep on that. So I think, man, it's time for just a little bit of news.
Greg's gray ass pubes. What?
Yeah, tits indeed, everybody. So, going on to my music news, and I did talk about, I have news. Lately I've just been being lazy and going on to my Discover. I figured since it is Greg's music news, why not just talk about a few things? One was was funny. Just I brought this up because we were talking about Weezer, about how they've been putting out the same album for 15 years.
Oh, God, have they?
I kind of checked out with them after, like, Maladroit, Apparently, they were doing a Broadway residency, and it got canceled due to low ticket sales.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the Weezer thing is fading. They were supposed to do something like September 13th to 18th in Broadway, like a Broadway residency. Those little EPs. Remember, we kept talking about how they were coming out with this shit, and you were like, dude, how many freaking like I get it, dude, I get it.
The blue album, the green album, the red album,
Yeah, but these were like little EPs that were
right.
like it was supposed to go for this Broadway residency, and according to people, they said no way, so it got canceled. So I'm kind of interested. I think with Weezer, like I said, I do like Weezer. I was a big fan in the beginning. After that, like they just, and you know, look, there's bands like AC/DC, right? They put out the same record 500 times. I love it.
I can't listen to certain certain AC/DC songs without Jim Norton's voice in the back of my head. Cheated Mountain Highway.
Fire. Yes. Yeah. But you know, I don't know, man. Weezer, you got to go away for a while. Let people care about you again. Stop putting out music. The other one, I don't know if you caught this. There was a thing going around. There was a TikToker talking about Metallica trying to get them canceled. You know, because all the kids now are all about Stranger Things.
Look, I'm going to admit that Lars Ulrich is a fucking dick. But
well, yeah, I mean, he's, you know, like, man, you know, but no, like this TikToker put this whole thing. They want to cancel Metallica because they're racist. I'm like, okay, come on.
They are.
They start pulling up all these old clips and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, look. Their bass player is not white. You know, it just take your fucking Metallica shirts, drop them back off at Hot Topic, and give the band back to us, okay? Like, just stop. Everybody's just so sensitive, and we gotta cancel this band because of something they did 15 years ago, and it's just like, guys, really, like, it's. I'm like, oh, and they were criticizing because, remember they had the Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Faith No More tour way back in the day, where it was like, and one of the bands that Guns N' Roses wanted to have on the show was Body Count, and
Body Count, motherfucker.
Yeah, and everybody was like, and apparently Metallica was like, or James Hetfield was like, yeah, no, we don't want Body Count on there. And they're like, see, because they don't want Body Count on the tour because they're racist. It's like, no, maybe because at that time they had a fucking song called Cop Killer. Maybe they didn't want to be associated with that.
Dude,
you know
Cop Killer is nowhere.
I have a copy of it.
Well, if you go on like Spotify, Apple Music, any of those places,
no, they
pulled it.
Oh yeah, they totally pulled it. I have the CD that I bought.
Yeah,
when
I have
it first
somewhere
came out.
too.
Yeah, but I get it. It wasn't that he was black. It was because freaking Cop Killer. It came out the exact same time, so maybe he's like, and you know, Axl Rose is a freaking one in a million. Okay, read the lyrics to that.
Yeah.
So tell me who's racist. So it kind of twisted me the wrong way. How like, you know, I hate the bug of millennials and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, you know, you listen, you hear this song, Master of Puppets, in a show that you're obsessed about, and you're like,
and then you go do a deep dive on the band and find some stuff you don't like.
Yeah, and then you're first of all, everybody's walking around like, ooh, Master of Puppets, like they discovered it. It came out in '86, dude. You know, that was their third album. You know, like, you know, not to sound
Kill
like
'Em
the
All,
old
Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets.
I was, you know, Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning, first song I ever heard from Metallica, and it freaking blew my mind. Now they do. You know, they're doing carpool karaoke and all this stuff. Like, they're a little
did you
douchey
see
now.
This carpool
like
karaoke with Rihanna's Diamonds. And James Hetfield is like so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
as they're singing it, and he's like, I don't want it, and eventually, he starts like joining in.
Yeah, Robert Trujillo.
He's like, help me. And come on.
Yeah.
Lars Ulrich looks like such a fucking douche.
Yeah, you know, Lars is kind of warm. I've warmed up to Lars a little bit. He is still douchey, but at the same time, it's like, you know, stop. Like, stop with the Metallica stuff. Well, first of all, millennials, you're not getting rid of Metallica. They're freaking selling out stadiums, and they will be to this day. Now, do I agree with everything that Metallica does? No.
Do I like everything Metallica comes out with?
No.
I mean, look,
I even like Lulu, so fuck you all.
Lulu.
The album they did with Lou Reed.
Oh,
I am the
look,
table. Shit like that.
So Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets. Now, I don't know if it's because that was my Metallica albums
Yeah.
that I can still to this day listen to every fucking song on those albums. And
They're
know-
classics. They're classics.
But Injustice for All?
That was the first time I saw them live, was Injustice for All. And it's mixed poorly, can't, the old saying of can't hear the bass in it, it's like that. But it was very proggy, progressive kind of stuff.
I saw them open up for Ozzy.
Yeah, that was Master of Puppets.
When Cliff was still alive.
Wow. Yeah, you got to see that.
And then I saw them later on with when they switched bass players after Cliff died and they went back on
Jason
tour.
Newsted.
Jason Newsted.
Yeah.
I've seen them a bunch of times, either opening up. I've seen them opening up, headlining, and then we saw them at Lollapalooza.
Yeah, that was the funny one where it was like the load, reload era with the short hair, and people were like, what the hell is this going on, But look, I can go through any Metallica discography and pull out a song or two, even from the later stuff.
Sure.
But seriously, it's like this certain group, it's like they find the song.
Now, this was TikTok, this guy?
Yeah, it was this chick.
That's your answer right there.
Yeah, it's millennials. We're gonna cancel. They started this whole big
she
movement.
just wants views.
Of course.
I want views.
Yeah, I mean, did they take pictures of, apparently they were doing Hitler salutes and stuff. It's like, no, it's just like they're not. Maybe in the 80s. I don't know. I can't say. But, the band was never, now they're not a dangerous band anymore. They're kind of like old men.
Yeah.
And they, now they're doing carpool karaoke and like the little tiny instruments with Jimmy Fallon. And they're like, hey, everybody, we're Metallica. And it's
you know why?
Why?
Because their target audience is us.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, we're the ones with the money.
Yeah.
Right now, we're the ones working with jobs and money. The ones you're talking about, the fucking, the new generation now.
Yeah.
The even the millennials some of them to a degree, they're not going out and spending, $100 on a concert ticket to go see Metallica.
Yeah.
But our diehard Metallica fans who are listening to them in the 80s are like, I'm gonna fucking see Metallica, man. And pay that $100, just like the people were paying like $200, $300, $500 to go see Kiss. It was like, oh, it's Kiss. Who knows? It's maybe the last time I ever see him. It's like,
it's classic rock at this point, and more power to them. I mean, they don't do everything great, but
No.
and look, they're never gonna make another Master of Puppets, so fucking stop. All right, every time they put out an album, it's like, oh, this is garbage. Like, dude, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. There's some freaking bangers on that.
oh,
album.
hell yeah.
Death Magnetic bangers.
Yep.
There's some good My Apocalypse on that album. Holy crap. So yeah, calm down, everybody.
Just
anyway.
give the Spotify This Is Metallica playlist.
Yeah.
Listen. There's some really great songs and some shit songs on there.
Oh yeah.
That I don't like.
Yeah, not everybody's a fan of Saint Anger like I
And-
am, but they have some little ones. But other than that,
I love Saint Anger. Are you kidding
I
me?
do too.
Fucking great song. I roll down the windows, blast it, and sing along, baby.
people hate that. Oh, the snare sounds like a trash can. It's just like, look, it's different. There's no souls in
It's
it. Who
supposed to.
cares? Frantic, freaking Saint Anger. I love that song. Some kind of monster. Holy crap! Now, yeah, they actually did for that documentary. They remixed some of those songs, and if you hear Some Kind of Monster off that, it's freaking awesome. That So, anyway, don't worry, you still got a fan of me, Metallica. Other than that, new songs that are out. The Pixies have another single out, Vault of Heaven. It's okay. It's all right. If you want to hit the, I thought they were dead.
Oh, God. You should give me a heads up about it.
I should have.
Can I help you, sir? Yes, what is this? Huh? This is whack. I can't get jiggy with this shit. I thought you were dead.
Hey, kids, the Goo Goo Dolls have a new album out. And I don't want the world to see me. Yeah.
Why not?
Because I'm fat. Guess what? They have an album out called Chaos and Bloom. It's the Goo Goo Dolls. It's, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I like the early Goo Goo Dolls when they were still a little bit punky.
Yeah.
That song I just sang, it's a little catchy, Yeah, no, this is just same old, same old. It wasn't even on my Discover. I was like just flipping through new releases. I'm like, wait a second, the Goo Goo Dolls? I thought they were dead. So those are the only two that came up. The other one we want to talk about, which I did share with my boy when he was down in South Carolina.
Dude, I was not expecting what I heard with this band.
Now, this is a band that we want to give a big shout out to, only because
I don't want to get all. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to. Go ahead.
I found them on TikTok, of all places. Scrolling through TikTok, mind-numbing, and I see there's these goofy videos with this chick who's like, kind of a punky, gothy-looking chick, and she's playing the guitar, and they were doing some funny videos. And I was like, oh, that's cute, scrolling. And then I go on to their page, because sometimes if I see something, I'm like, I think it's funny, I'll go on their page, I'll flip through a couple of other ones. And they had some goofy ones, and I didn't know that they were a band. I thought they were just doing stupid music stuff. And from first glance of these chicks, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to call them chicks. I'm supposed to call them.
You might get yourself canceled by calling them chicks.
I thought they were going to be like some, chick goth, like not all right, like kind of like bad cop maybe, or just something like just whiny.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh my God. First of all, if you flip through those TikToks, this girl could shred. She was doing like Metallica solos. She was doing all kinds of crazy solos. So I was like, man, this chick could. Oh, she was doing one. I saw one today that she did that somebody was like, oh, you're speeding it up. You're not playing it right and stuff like that. So she takes a thing of and she pulls out some ramen and she puts the ramen in the microwave and she hits the button and she starts playing Eruption and she's playing it flawlessly. And then she gets to the end, and it was like perfect timing. She stops, and then it just goes beep, beep, beep. The microwave was done. So she did it at the same time as the microwave. And then she opens it up. She's like, that was just me noodling. And I was like, okay, that's funny, But I check out their music. You get a chance to listen to that album that they just – it's like 2019. Yeah.
In all honesty, I was driving back from Myrtle Beach. Like, I listened to the one song that you sent me the link to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the way back from Myrtle Beach, I was listening to it, and I was so tired because I drove back. We left Myrtle Beach at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I drove overnight. And, of course, you get in the car, and everybody's like, no, we'll be up. We'll talk to you, Dad. And, like, an hour into the ride, everybody's like,
yeah. And we keep not saying the band. The band's name is called Hoity Toity.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, I don't want to get all hoity-toity about this, but...
And their last album came out in 2019. It's called Not Your Kind. And they have, 15,000 monthly listeners? These freaking... I put the song, on the playlist. You get a chance to check it. They did not sound like I expected.
No.
Heavy, but, not straight, just good, catchy riffs.
Now, do we know what they're up to now?
I don't know. I haven't really dug. I mean, it looks like they do have a show coming up in September near Poughkeepsie. They're not near us at all. I think they're a West Coast band. They're like a Hollywood band, Santa Ana. They're so if you get a chance, I mean, that's really the power of TikTok, where you can make these. Yeah, there they are. You can make some cool, funny videos, and it got this 51-year-old man to go check out a freaking band that I've never heard of in SoCal. So I'm like, and that album, I've been listening to it constantly because it's got a lot of different styles. She's a great singer. She could shred on the guitar. It sounds great. So, even though it's not brand new, you got to check out this band, Hoity Toity. I tagged them on our last, when I put up the playlist.
Big fat ham.
You like that song?
Music news.
Eat it. Nice. Yeah, but anyway, guys, thanks again for listening to our nonsense. Be on the lookout definitely for some more social media stuff. Check out our merch page. Buy a Yikes t-shirt. We'll put up some new designs, some limited edition ones.
And don't try and search for our old archive. We have archived the first 20 episodes or so.
Yeah, you're only getting a few. So be on the lookout and share it with your friends, man. Let's get some people to listen to this. Braces are expensive. I got to take my kid in to get her teeth pulled. Good on you also. Yeah, be at heypalwhatsnew.com, man. Get some traffic on that.
That's right. GothicHandjobs.com. Check it out.
Booyah.